welcome to Time with Terri, coming to you from the Space Coast of sunny Florida, where we have the beautiful Atlantic Ocean, lovely rivers, see rockets in the sky, and hear that tremendous sonic boom. I'm Terri, a retired healthcare professional who has worked with seniors my entire career. Now I'm at that stage in my life. In this outlet, Time with Terri, I would like to hear your concerns and share your ideas, because to me, this is not just a podcast. It is my mission as a senior advocate to connect you with an amazing network of resources. Because in Brevard County, we care about our seniors. I would also like to support local charitable organizations and small businesses. I love my trivia. So today, my trivia question is about Julia Child, the French chef. Now, interestingly, she worked for the OSS, the predecessor of the CIA, as a research assistant during World War II. What did she help invent? This is a multiple choice today. A cure for trench foot. B, the first iteration of Velcro. C, the first freeze-dried meal rations, or D, repellent to keep sharks away from explosives. Now, the reason I am asking about a chef is because it is my pleasure to have Chef Jillian Zebriz. I'm sorry. I'm still having a hard time saying your last name. Sorry about that. Zebras. Thank you. From Chefs for Seniors. She is a wonderful chef. I can attest to that because a lot of times you cater a lot of our events here and everything has been awesome. So you were born in Ohio. So tell us more about yourself.
Thanks for having me, first of all.
My pleasure.
So happy to be here. A little bit about myself. I started in Ohio. I am from a mother and father. Then I ended up with a single mother, and we were kind of always in Ohio. There's like gardens and fresh food, but then you have the winter and you kind of eat out of cans in your pantry. So there's a little bit of that. And my grandparents always had a garden, so we always kind of had fresh food around there too. And growing up, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. So I've had a lot of interesting career paths that kind of brought me to this, and I have to say I love it.
I'm from Pennsylvania, a neighboring state, and I remember my mom canning peaches and jelly and having the paraffin. We had the jars, and it was kind of like the little paraffin thing to keep it fresh. So, yeah, Ohio people. People from Ohio are great people. Good down-to-earth, hardworking people.
I always say the good people are from Ohio and the smart ones leave. My mom doesn't like when I say that.
So you moved to Orlando, right? And you went to Le Cordon Bleu.
I did.
I like to say it that way. Sounds a little bit more fancier. And became a certified pastry chef.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you worked at Disney Epcot?
I did. I did the Food and Wine Festival.
Nice. And you were pastry chef at Disney Hotel?
That's right.
So were you able to get into Disney for free?
I was.
Nice.
I had a lot of fun over there.
Good. And one of your desserts were featured in a magazine. What magazine was that?
That's right. I'm not sure. Disney kind of has a lot of stuff, so it was somewhere, somehow. It was the summertime, and we were opening a restaurant that was like American-style barbecue, but it was Brazilian-style barbecue. So they were going to have all of the smoked meats kind of on the stick, and they go around and they let you try everything, smoked wings, scratch-made smoked sausage and stuff like that. So I was in charge of all of the desserts, and because I had just graduated, I was supposed to be hired under a pastry chef, but because they were just hiring, there was no head pastry chef. So I got hired straight out of school, and I was the head lead pastry chef. So I spent my 5 a.m. in the morning to 2 in the afternoon making food and desserts for this American-style barbecue place. And I had a chef from not even America, from like India. and we were doing cornbread. And he said, I need you to make cornbread that reminds me of my grandma's cornbread. But then I was also playing with the desserts, and I was playing with flourless chocolate cake. And it was about 4th of July time, so I was like, what's more classic than s'mores? So I did the graham cracker crust, I did the flourless chocolate cake, and I actually did mine cold. And then after a couple different versions, I ended up putting marshmallows on top of it and toasting it. Mm-hmm. Although I really liked my cold flourless chocolate cake, they ended up turning it into a dip. So it was a flourless chocolate cake dip that they put graham crackers around and then the marshmallows toasted on top.
That's good. So you got to be very creative because you didn't have anybody looking over your shoulder. You could just do whatever you wanted to do.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So your son was born. Was he born in Orlando or?
He was.
Okay.
We moved over here with his father, and we came over here for free babysitting because all of his parents were retired. Mm-hmm. And that lasted for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. Well, you're very active. It sounds like you have a very active son. He's very involved in a lot of sports.
He is. So he just finished up. We're finishing up 4th grade now, and he started basketball in the fall, and then we did football, and we just finished soccer this past weekend. So
Soccer's
been a long year.
Yeah. Soccer's a good sport. That's a lot of exercise, running up and down the field, and there's a lot of strategy in soccer.
That's right.
So that's good. Good for kids to get involved in sports and be good team players.
Except now he knows how to use technology, and he has like a stopwatch on his watch. So he says, Mom, we're doing a 90-minute game. So he sets the timer, and luckily he gives me a 10-minute break.
Well, that's nice. And you were talking about gardens before, so you have your own garden.
I do.
You have like sweet potatoes and tomatoes, green onions, squash, basil. You have a mango tree. I miss my mango tree. When I had my house, I had this lovely mango tree. And there's nothing like mangoes right out of your backyard. They're so sweet. Yeah, and limes. Do you cook a lot with limes?
I do. Maybe a little bit of marinating stuff, but I do a lot of in the water. Citrus, limes, lemons, and I put salt in my water too.
That sounds great. So, did who influenced you to become a chef?
My whole family has always been in the kitchen. So my mother actually makes really beautiful cakes and birthday cakes. So for my sister and I, she would. Back in the 80s and 90s, we had those Barbie cakes where the Barbie doll would be up at the top and then the bottom was the cake. So she would just design all of the ruffles with frosting and everything. So she went to the little Wilton class and did that. And then I discovered I really didn't have the patience for it, but it's like my mom was always baking all the time. So that's what we were always doing, is watching her do that. And she always kind of made the same things over and over. And we had our living room was just lined with bookcases and cookbooks. So eventually I'd start pulling cookbooks out and then trying to make recipes and switch things up for dinner. So one of the first things I actually made for her was a meatloaf. And she doesn't even like beef really or meatloaf. So she's like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And my mom never really cooked with spices, herbs. She doesn't put salt in anything. She doesn't put pepper in anything. So I think just that alone, adding salt and pepper to things, she's like, oh, this tastes good. But I made my meatloaf, I swear, I put every kind of spice in there and I didn't even know what they were. And she loved it.
Now I'm curious, do you watch any cooking shows?
I don't anymore. Going to cooking school totally ruined all of the cooking shows. And my son said to me once, Mom, you should be on Chopped. And I was like, I'm on Chopped every single day.
It's always interesting to see if chefs actually watch other chefs. But that's interesting. Yeah, and you don't have time either.
Right.
You're so busy, so that's good.
But I did get my son into watching the kids do it, and then like the Dr. Seuss and all of the really big cakes.
Yeah.
And another fun fact, I went to high school with a girl named Natalie Sidesurf. Foodies would know her. She has a show on the Food Network called, she started Is It Cake? The Texas Cake House. She's out there in Austin. She went viral for the Willie Nelson cake, and her wedding cake, Till Death Do Us Part, was 2 severed heads. And it's really funny because I used to skip my study hall and I'd go to my friend's art class, and she was in my art class and she was in my history class. Uh-huh. I've never in a million years expect her to be making cakes. And I'm like, I went to school for cakes and now I'm making people healthy food.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
It's funny.
Interesting, yeah. Well, tell us about a typical day in the kitchen of Chef Jillian.
Typical day. I like to. Are we talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner and what I eat, or what I'm doing for other people?
Well, since you have a business, how about what you do for other people?
Let's talk about that. So, Chefs for Seniors is an in-home meal service. So we start with going to people's houses and talking to them first, little consultation. What do you like? What do you don't like? What are your dietary concerns? Because the beauty of having a personal chef is that we can cook to their specific diet. And a really good example, I went to a house yesterday. She was gluten-free and dairy-free, and her husband is on a kidney diet. So she said, I'm going to go first and tell you all the things I can't eat, and then we're going to go and talk about him afterwards. And then we kind of were able to combine both of it and say, let's see what you both can eat together, and let's do it that way. So our meals are based on a Mediterranean DASH diet, DASH being dietary approach to stop hypertension. And then the Mediterranean diet is kind of what every doctor pretty much tells you what to eat. A little bit more fish, stay away from the red meat, lighten things up with the healthy fats. So we do all of that, and that's like so natural to me. So realistically, we're chopping vegetables all the time, sauteing, steaming, roasting. And that's kind of what you learn in cooking school that ruins all of the cooking shows, that you're basically steaming, roasting, boiling, braising, and all that kind of stuff. So we typically cook 4 meals at a time when they're at their house. So at the consultation, we help them decide on their 4 meals. We pick the date and time for the chef to come and cook for them. And then they just sit back and wait for the chef. So we do the grocery shopping. We bring our own pots and pans and utensils. So we're literally a kitchen on wheels. We show up with everything that we need. We bring the towels and clean everything up. We bring the little containers that we package the food in. We're cooking 4 meals. It takes about 2.5 hours. On a good day, I can get all 4 meals done, sometimes in like an hour and a half, maybe hour 45 minutes. But with those 4 meals, there's multiple servings. So I always use the meatloaf example. If one of the meals is going to be meatloaf, you're going to have 4 containers of meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans. So you're going to have a 1/4 pound in each box. So all of the meals are kind of portioned for you already according to sizes that you should be eating. And then some can go in the fridge, some can go in the freezer. I usually say whatever you're going to eat in the next 4 days, put in the fridge, put the rest in the freezer, eat as you go. I don't make you sign contracts. So I have some people that use this weekly, some do bi-weekly, and some do monthly. Some people are on call, and people love us. It's great.
So you have people on call that they can say, Jillian, can somebody come out and cook a meal for me?
Yeah.
Tonight, or yeah?
Well, we do. They pretty much can call us, and we'll fit them in the schedule whenever we can get them in. I tell people, try to give me like a week notice, because we are busy. But I do have 4 chefs that work for me, so we can usually find a time.
Good. So they keeps you pretty busy.
Oh yes.
So your business is booming if you have 4 chefs.
Absolutely.
Great. That is great. Now, you also teach cooking classes at Wickham Park Senior Center?
I do. That's kind of during COVID, when everything shut down, I was reached out to by an insurance person, and they said, hey, would you consider cooking for our audience? So we'll get you the people, you can do it on Zoom and you can cook from your house. So I was getting paid to make gourmet meals at home for dinner for me and my son.
Nice. Nice gig.
Yeah, that was not bad. And then everything opened up and they said, you should probably go to the senior center now. So I was like, okay. But then the lady who started it said she didn't want to help with the chairs and rearranging everything. So I ended up getting some other sponsors and I do it. But now I've been doing it for a couple years now. So the people at the senior center are so nice that they literally come over and they'll move all the chairs and they'll help clean everything up too.
I think that would be worth. So what days and what day and what time?
We're typically on second Thursdays of the month at 11.
Okay.
We're there from 11 to about 12:30. I'm usually making like 2 to 3 recipes. Sometimes I'll do 4 recipes. I'll either make them really quick or I'll give them copies and they have like bonus recipes. But we have a lot of fun. I've had people bring me flowers. I've had people bring me chicken eggs, all kinds of vegetables. We have a lot of fun together. And then I tell them, like, text me, call me. I've had people bring me plants and growing plants and seedlings.
Well, to move the chairs around is just a small little
Right.
little price to pay to have an experienced chef there and give them all these wonderful recipes.
That's right. Yeah, I've really, really spoiled them. I have a big following over at Wickham Park. I've brought in some guest speakers, so I've had some people, like my friend who's a diabetic doctor. She came in and we were kind of side by side talking about diabetes and why this is healthy and why you should stay away from this. So we've had a lot of fun in there.
That's good, yeah, because there are a lot of health concerns with seniors and people who aren't seniors too. So to have the good diet recommendations, food, because it's like, oh gosh, I'm diabetic or I have high blood pressure. I don't know what to make. So it's great that you can give them the advice as to what to make and make it delicious. Not have some bland, boring dish to add a little spice or whatever it is to make it enjoyable. Good for you. And you're also involved with some nonprofits?
I do a lot of nonprofits. So I was at the Greater Palm Bay Senior Center and I was doing some vendor fairs down there. I ran into a group that saw me chef and they're like, so it's called Angels Bridging Gaps. My friend Jackie runs that program and they are teaching life skills to adults with autism. So they kind of aged out of school. We need to figure out what they can do to have a sustainable life for the rest of their life and not be dependent on other people. So they do real life skills. I've been teaching cooking classes with them for about 3 or 4 years. We just finished our season now, so we're taking a little bit of a summer break. We have a lot of fun together.
That's great. Well, it's nice to give back to the community.
Right.
So yeah, that is good. Do you have like one cooking tip that most cooks often overlook? One or more things that you say, well, maybe if they would have added this or maybe this, whatever would make it a little bit more palatable or.
Funny story, I guess. Well, maybe a couple things. Some people. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where to go with that one. So in cooking school, they do mashed potatoes with white pepper and a little bit of nutmeg. And I used to do that in the beginning, but I don't do it anymore. Now we just stick with butter and sour cream.
That's good. Butter, sour, mashed potatoes or cheese. I like cheese in my potatoes.
There you go.
Baked potatoes or mashed potatoes, yeah, is always good. I am sure that that with aspiring chefs, do you have any advice for any aspiring chefs? I was going to say young aspiring chefs, but I'm like at any age you can become a chef. As we get older, people that are retired like me, it's like you have all this time, and it's like I always like cooking. Maybe I'll become a chef. So, do you have any advice for people who are interested in becoming chefs? Like chefs.
Yeah, I would say follow your heart. If it's definitely something that you're passionate about, do it. Cooking is a lot of vegetable chopping, a lot of knife skills. I remember first going in there and having to cut the carrots like square,
Yeah.
like they're round. How do you get them square?
Really?
And surprisingly, yeah, well, like even the French fries, you're cutting a round potato and there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of waste that you don't see. But a good chef knows how to not waste things.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of an important thing too. Like I remember from cooking behind the house when we were learning to make broccoli cheddar soup and you're using like all of the stems and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to a restaurant and just watching them toss all of the broccoli stalks away. No, let me save those.
So what would you do with that, with the stalks?
There's a lot of things you could do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of back to the soup idea, you can blend it, puree it, put it in a soup. I recently have been playing with some pizza crust recipes. So spaghetti squash, pizza crust, and I just recently saw a like riced kind of chopped broccoli pizza crust. So, I mean, you can blend it, you can hide it. I've done crazy things like black bean brownies. I've been making sweet potato brownies right now.
That would be
And
good.
I've even had to puree a can of beans, hide them in spaghetti sauce for the picky eaters that don't want to eat beans, don't want to get their fiber. So it's really fun how creative you can get in like sneaking vegetables and things.
Mm-hmm.
My son would not eat onions, and I told him they're flavor crystals, and he's like, fine, he'll eat it if there's onions now.
Uh-huh.
And with the green herbs and stuff, I'd always put green herbs, and he's like, I don't know, I don't want to eat that. And then not too long ago, he saw all the herbs. He goes, oh, herbs, yum. So it's been a learning process with everybody.
And if he tries it, it's just like, well, just try it, But I know when I was a kid, it was like, no, like I don't want to eat that, and it's like I didn't even try it. Like peas, I was like, no, I'm never gonna eat my peas, because I was a very quiet child, believe it or not. But my mom wanted me to eat my peas, and I was like passive aggressive. Like she said, you're gonna sit at that table until you eat your peas. And I did not eat my peas. I didn't say anything. I fell asleep. I fell asleep at the table and did not eat my peas. Now, I love peas. I was like, I never tried them. If I tried them, I might actually like it. But that's interesting, though, with the stalks, because I know a lot of people, they hate to waste things. But I know you can make a dip out of it, too. Like, yeah, you could do a lot of, but sweet potato brownies, that sounds interesting. So what does the sweet potato, is it a substitute for anything or?
For a lot of things.
Yeah.
You can literally just have your sweet potato like ready to mash. So if you want to do it in the microwave, you want to put it in the oven, you want to put it in a steamer. I like to steam my sweet potatoes just because it kind of keeps all of the nutrients in it versus boiling it out or roasting. But once your sweet potato is ready to mash, you put like a quarter cup of cocoa powder, a half a cup of peanut butter, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of sea salt. Salt makes I like salt. Put everything in it, and then I put a little bit of espresso powder in mine. So stir all that up. You could put a little bit of maple syrup or some honey as a sweetener. My mom's been making it for my nephew. She said you don't need the sugar, so maybe taste it first, see what you like. But just mix it all up, put it in your glass dish, put it in the oven. Keep your eye on it because depending on the size of your sweet potato, maybe 15, 20, 25 minutes. That's what we learned in cooking school. The bread teacher did not give us a time for anything. You have to keep your eye on the food. So when they're done, they're done, and they're good.
I'll have to get that recipe from you because I like sweet potatoes and I love brownies. So that's a more healthy, much healthier than the box cake.
Oh yeah,
box brownies. Yes, you have many good recipes, and I know when I come to the events, you always have very interesting things. And mangoes, I know I love mangoes. I know you have a nice mango salsa that you make, or mango. I don't know if it's a salsa, but you do use mangoes. Maybe not.
Maybe a mango pico.
Yes, mango
Okay.
something. There's something. Those mangoes are in something. I know. I know a mango when I taste it. But yes, pretty good recipes. Okay, now this is an interesting question. If you could cook for anyone, past or present, who would that be and why?
That was a tricky question. You definitely had me thinking about it. And my answer is my grandfather. He passed, and he was a huge inspiration. We would come down to Florida every summer and cook. We'd have to go help in the garden. So sun shining, it's rising. We have to go outside and weed the garden, water the garden, plant everything. So he actually took us to like gourd conventions and stuff like that, where they turn them into birdhouses and everything. So that was kind of my growing up. So I was kind of on the older scene and the food scene. But he was such a great cook. Towards the end, he was making homemade yogurt. He was growing mushrooms and selling them to places. So my favorite recipe that he ever made was grilled pizza. And I wish I could get him back to make that grilled pizza together.
So what was so special about that?
It was so good. And their house was amazing. They pretty much like built it from the ground up.
Really?
They came and found the property.
Nice.
They built it. They developed all the land. He had an enormous garden. And it just takes me back. Hitting the golf clubs and going for walks. And it was the good, slow life.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, now this is another interesting question. If your cooking style was a music genre, what would that be?
Another one you almost had me on.
You know what? I cheat and go to ChatGPT and I'm like, okay, questions to ask a chef, and I'm like, and there was like a gazillion of them, and I was like, that's interesting though. That is an interesting question though.
I do like that question, and my first thought was like, oh, I'll just tell her what kind of music I like, and then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't cook like that. So I would have to say oldies, honestly, like some Grease, that movie, That Thing You Do, classic. Because Chefs for Seniors is like classic comfort food with a healthy twist. And I'm cooking for seniors that are kind of in that era anyway. So it's funny to think about you guys, how you were back then. And now I'm cooking for you and spending time with you guys. So we make stuff like classic meatloaf, Salisbury steak, roast beef dinner, chicken with gravy, spaghetti and meatballs. And I get to pick your guys' brain and find out, like, how did you meet your husband? And they're like, we were at a dance. We were at this. We were at that. So it's really fun.
Oh, that's good. That's great. So, Chef Jillian, if someone would like your services, how would they get in touch with you?
I can be reached by my phone number, 321-210-6953. I also have a website, chefsforseniors.com/Melbourne with a little dash and an FL for Florida. I have some fans in Australia through my Instagram, but we're Melbourne, Florida.
Really? So do they tune into you for your recipes and?
Well, Instagram, just having Melbourne on there.
Oh.
Melbourne, Florida, Melbourne, Australia. We make friends across the pond.
Yeah. You're like, no, I meant Melbourne, Florida, not Australia. But still, the Aussies, I'm sure, like your recipes and might tune in. Now, you also are on a radio show, too? You are on a radio show, 90.3?
90.3 FM. It's a local channel here, WEJF. And on Mondays about 12:30ish, right after the weather, it's actually through Helping Seniors of Brevard, which is our other local favorite charity. So I have a little radio spot I've been doing with them. It's 10 minutes. It's called Food for Thought. And I've been also doing that since about COVID time. So
Great.
They said I've been getting better.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice. Well, I've enjoyed this, Jillian. I see you, and I know we see each other in Walmart. I know.
Yes.
It's nice that we don't see each other. Yeah, we see each other outside of Walmart. I know, and it's different Walmarts. So I know it's funny how we run into each other, but it's always nice. It's always nice to run into you. Okay, so do you know the answer to the question about Julia Child?
I'm going to go with C. She came up with the freeze-dried food.
That's what I thought, but no. she invented a repellent to keep sharks away. It said, I do brain candy every day, which is really interesting. Brain candy, it has different topics every day, but this one was about her, and it said to keep away from explosives. The sharks, like during World War II, being a research assistant, but I guess when the divers would go into the water, to avoid the shark attacks, she made it out of copper acetate and black dye, and they would make them like in cakes, and they would put them in their backpacks or whatever you call that when they go diving, and it's kind of the odor of a dead shark. Huh. And the guy said, and the guy that worked with him said, he said only Julia Child could make, making a repellent that smells like dead shark fun. So I thought that, I thought that was very interesting. And she was very tall. She was a very tall person. And it said that she wanted to get into the military, but she couldn't because she was too tall. I'm like, that's crazy. She was 6'2", and also with her her cabinets, because she was so tall, they had to adjust the cabinets to her height. But she was evidently a very fun lady. I didn't really watch her that much, but I knew of her. And my quote of the day from her, there was a couple things that she said that were funny, but she said, "People who love to eat are always the best people. And this is my invariable advice to people. Learn how to cook, try new recipes, learn from your mistakes, be fearless, and above all, have fun." So that is very interesting. So, Jillian, it was great spending time with you, and Jillian Zebris. I'm sorry. My last name is Petsar, and people always murder my name, so I'm sorry about that. But anyway, Jillian for Chefs for Seniors, and you can be reached at
321-210-6953.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. I enjoyed our time today with you and with Chef Jillian from Chefs for Seniors, and I look forward to our next episode of Time with Terri. Just a reminder, reach out to someone today and be a blessing, and you'll be blessed too. Bye.